All right, SEC West fans, and hopefully maybe some Oregon fans. We're going to talk about the LSU Oregon game coming up. I'll be there with my friends. About the attire, we're all in the SEC West, and we're all ganging up on this one together. LSU has been through a lot of trouble in the last couple weeks. I've been wanting to do this show for so long now. I wanted to do a first one in May, but then that's when all the Chip Kelly and Willie Lyles stuff came up, and I started wondering who was going to be able to play for Oregon. Would they still have a coach? Would they be? I thought it was going to be another Butch Davis type of game that we experienced as LSU fans against North Carolina last year when we went to Atlanta and pretty much, all their star players and any player that made any tackle, it seemed like on defense, was not playing. To include their star offensive people too. And come to find out, if it, they almost beat LSU. They almost beat us in that game. So I didn't know if we were going to be facing Oregon under the same situation or not. So anyway, within all this crap came up with Jordan Jefferson and getting arrested, and now they're saying our punter Brad Wing got arrested about a month ago and didn't get suspended. So hell knows what's going to happen with that. Um, so here we are. Jordan Jefferson for sure isn't going to play. I'll tell you my take on that now. As LSU fans, we were all hoping that we had a senior quarterback that would finally begin to play up to some kind of potential, maybe not even be an all SEC quarterback, but just be a productive quarterback that doesn't screw things up and can keep the ball moving and manage a game. Jordan Jefferson's done that at times, but we were all hoping he was going to fit into the Jason Campbell or the Chris Leak mold and or John Parker Wilson mode of having a light turn on, the game slows down in senior year, and you have a good year. Well, apparently that's not going to happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Jefferson ever plays another down of football anywhere, except maybe for some, one is arena league teams. But who knows? He might get off this. Um, I don't know how red shirts would work on that. Maybe he would get a red shirt. Maybe he might be back at the mid-season. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I do know he's not going to play against Oregon. So that leaves us with Jarrett Lee. He's another guy just like Jordan Jefferson. He has a lot fewer starts than Jordan Jefferson, but he has a lot of snaps. And much like Jordan Jefferson, he's had moments of brilliance and he's had horrible moments. He beat Auburn a few years ago at Auburn. Last year, we would not have beat Tennessee, we would not have beat Alabama, and we would not have beat Florida without his game heroics. Now, he didn't play the whole game, and a lot of people think he's better coming in, without starting after looking on the bench and seeing what's going on. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not. But, I do know the kid has performed for us in the past at times, and at times he's been horrible. So, in all honesty, I look at our quarterback situation and I don't see a lot different between us going in this game with Jordan Jefferson or Jarrett Lee, because it's based off of two quarterbacks that have done good things. They've done a lot of bad things, but they're seniors, so maybe something happened. I do know if Jarrett Lee goes down, we're going to have Mettenberger in, and Lord knows what he's going to be like. I went to the spring game and saw Mettenberger play. He was the best quarterback. I thought he performed better than all the other quarterbacks, but that was just a small sampling. So I don't think it's a big loss for LSU. Um, you look at the loss of Russell Shepard, it's the same thing. A very highly touted kid. He's had a lot of starts for us. He's played a lot of downs. He's had a lot of snaps. But he hasn't really lived up to his potential. He had moments 2 years ago against Auburn where he just lit the world up. He had a good moment at Alabama last year, but he still got caught from behind by some big linebacker. I don't remember which one he was. Might even been Barron, the strong safety, but I think it was a linebacker. So anyway, what's LSU really coming into Oregon without these two players? I mean, they're not people that's put up a lot of stats, but the potential of them putting up stats is there. And you know, if Jordan Jefferson's in, you got to account for his running ability. You don't have to worry about that with Lee. If Russell Shepard's in, you do have to have somebody kind of shadow him, make sure, because he does have good speed and he's a good player. And he had a good spring game too. He made some catches and he did okay. Um, so if you look at what Oregon's going in the game without, their cornerback, who's their equivalent to our Patrick Peterson last year, and I think it's all even. You know, LSU. The big question mark that we're not going to know till we look at the game in Dallas is are they finally going to be able to stop some kind of weird offense the way Oregon does? And we, since Chavis has been here, well, ever since Pelini, ever since our 2007 national championship team, we've had a problem with unconventional offenses. And so that's a major question mark. What counters that for our Oregon is they don't typically play well in that first game of the season. It's almost I've heard Bill King and a couple other guys on the internet and satellite radio say it takes them a while to get their offense geared up, all lathered up, and get the kinks out and get the timing right. And there's no way you can practice against a scout team like you can against a good team. Maybe there's some credence in that. So I think that's a wash too. Oregon's typically uh, late blooming of their offense, so to speak. Their bad historically bad performance in opening games, coupled that with LSU's really inability to cover these strange offenses. I think that might be kind of a wash too. Um, I think what this game's all going to come down to is if LSU, if this situation has brought them closer and made them work harder, or has it just screwed everything up? Are they going to be discombobulated? And yeah, Jarrett Lee's going to have to make some throws. We're not going to be able to just run. Oregon's front seven was decimated by the graduation, so I think LSU has a chance, coupled with our offensive line, which is going to be pretty stout this year. Even though we lost our starting guard, T-Bob Aver being take his place for maybe a true freshman. We don't know at this current time. So I think that's the two question marks for LSU, really. If they're using these problems to kind of come together and gel, then I look for a 5, 6 point win. Um, if they don't have their heads on straight like they typically had in first games, that Washington game was kind of weird a couple years ago. North Carolina game was weird last year. They didn't really seem to be into the game. Then they'll lose. I think Oregon's had more problems really than LSU, but it was spread out over all the summer, so they can go in here without really worrying about all that. Um, but I think that's the keys to my game. If if we're not making a punt, if we've got a bunch of third and Chavis, I don't think Jared Lee and company is going to be able to score enough points to keep him in there. But I personally hold the same opinion for Jarrett Lee that I had for Jordan Jefferson. I think the chances of a senior quarterback coming in there that's been much aligned and had a really strange career, I think the chances of them getting it together their senior year are pretty good. So I'm going into this game thinking Jarrett Lee's going to have that senior moment, that senior snap, where the game slows down for him and they make good decisions. But we don't know that until the game. But I look forward to seeing anybody up there. I'll be there, and we'll see what happens. And again, our email is secwestdudes@live.com. Send me an email. I'd appreciate it. And y'all take it easy.